So this month marks 4 years that we've been doing the podcast.
Wow.
Okay, so we left a little bit of cliffhanger on Wednesday, yesterday, and talking about just what the Lord has shown us and just kind of some transitions that our family is making as a result of this trip, partly, but just kind of a result of the last several years.
And the seasons that God takes us in and out of.
Yeah.
You know,
So
the Lord
it's
brings
July.
us in and out of seasons.
It has been 6 years almost since we started pre-production on the movie. And in December, it will be 6 years since we left California, which is, it blows my mind. I cannot believe that 6 years have gone by so quickly, but they have. And it has been an incredibly exciting journey and adventure for our family over these past several years, but it's also been
Do you know what's crazy?
hard.
I think I entered in at year 2.
Yeah, you did. You did. I know we've been doing
And there
this.
were challenges then, but it's been amazing to see what God's done.
So this month marks 4 years that we've been doing the podcast.
Wow.
So 6 years we've been working on, that the movie's been, in our world. Of course, it came out in November. So it hasn't been out a year yet, but 6 years with the movie, 4 years with the podcast, and God's just done incredible things through this ministry. And we never, ever in a million years could have ever planned it. We could never have imagined that the Lord would do what he's done. But it has certainly come with its challenges, as anything does. I don't say that like, oh, my life is so hard and miserable. I don't mean that at all. It's just everyone has challenges, no matter what your job is or what your, family life is like. We all have different challenges and stuff. And so this has just been our family. But a couple years ago, I want to say, Abby, it was maybe 3 years. No. It was 2.5 years ago, because it was right before COVID, when I went to an event and I came back, and you and I did this whole episode on the ministry of motherhood. And we talked about just the importance of motherhood being our main focus in ministry and our priority above all the other things. And so I came back from that trip, and I had been really busy with the movie and podcasting and all the things. And not that I was ignoring my kids by any means, but I was just busier than I wanted and should have been. And so I stepped back at that time and said, okay, this is like, I'm committing to really stepping back from everything but the podcast, which did happen in a lot of ways. But then as we moved, and then as it got closer to the release of the movie, things got insanely busy again. And so the past year for us has been crazy busy, and getting a movie out and into people's hands is no joke. And let me just tell you guys, if you're listening, you are our marketing department. You are our marketing team. We need your help to get this movie out, because it's been so very hard to just make people, just bring awareness of it. We don't have $1 million budget like most people have for movies like this. And so we've just relied on the Lord, and he's getting it out there and into people's hands and in front of people. But it has been an extraordinary amount of work to do this. And so the past year has been busy beyond belief. So we went on this trip, and we just came back, and I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm just exhausted in every way. And so we prayed a lot about this. Garrett and I did, and we got to talk a lot about it. Our girls actually went to camp with their American Heritage Girls Troop the week after we got back from our trip. And so it gave Garrett and I several days to just sit and pray together and talk, and just kind of plan like, okay, what next? And so what we really feel like the Lord is guiding our family to is to continue the ministry of Schoolhouse Rocked, which we're very happy about. But I am stepping back from everything except for recording the podcast.
Yay.
And so many people don't know all of the work that goes into making this podcast happen. I mean, every bit of, work that goes into just preparing for it, booking guests, scheduling guests, planning for them and what topics we're going to talk about. I mean, there's so many steps just to get to the podcast. And then after the podcast, so many steps and emails that have to be sent. And it's just a lot of preparation before and a lot of work after. And I was doing a lot of that. And in addition to that, of course, then all the movie stuff that was going on. And so Garrett said, okay, you're done doing all of the administrative stuff basically for Schoolhouse Rocked, and all I want you to do is record. Just basically sit down and record. And so it's taken a few weeks for us to kind of work through all the details and again, administrative part that I've been doing and hand it off to him. But that's what's happening. And so he has now taken over all of that. And he's now doing all of the prep work and all of the, work after the podcast. And I get to just sit down and record and talk
and
to
be
people
mom.
and be mom. And so now I'm going back again to full-time ministry of motherhood, which is very exciting. And again, it's not that I haven't been mom. It's not that we shouldn't work outside of our home. Both Abby and I, we work in a lot of ways, whether it's through your state organization or through Called Beyond or whatever, VBS at your church, whatever ministry the Lord's called you to. But trying to find that balance has been, it's difficult for me. And so I'm excited to be able to just step back from all of that and really just focus again on my family. We only have 2 more years of schooling left with Brooklyn. And that was one of the things I was like, wow, she's growing up so fast and she's going to be 17 this year. And we only have a couple more years of her as a child, not to say that when she's 18, we're kicking her to the curb, but she's very quickly approaching adulthood. Right. And I don't want to miss these next 2 years with her. No. And Lacey's going into 6th grade and I don't want to miss the middle school years with her. And so I'm excited just for this kind of new season. And
honestly, like we talked in that podcast, because that is our first call and our first ministry. And that is the thing that we're going to be held accountable for, and no other ministry. Like you said, you and I both do things outside. Well, I mean, I am in the home. I have no job, but I do a lot of ministry. Like we work with the church and we have, work with kids with families with disabilities, and I speak at different things. But that is all like 100% secondary. Those are all things I can say no to. It's not a clock in, clock out that it comes. But sometimes we forget to say no to those things because we feel that weight of them. And I just have to constantly remind myself, there are other people that can do all these other things. Yeah. There is nobody else that can be the mom to my kid, or to my kids. And it is the greatest.
You have more than one.
I do have more than one. Sorry. It is the greatest call. It is our number one job. It is our number one ministry. And it's enough. I think that's what a lot of moms think is it's enough. If that's all we do, we've done great things for eternity. Yeah. Like it's more than enough. Yeah. And like you said, you get to a certain season, and I'm there too, where you stop counting up to where you are. Like, how many years have you homeschooled? You don't say that anymore. It's how many more years do I have left? And it kind of becomes this not scary and not sad, but there is a place of mourning. Like we are on the end of it. And so we want to put we don't want to miss a moment, because we realize now how fast those moments go.
So fast. So fast, shockingly fast. I cannot believe that Brooklyn's going to be in 11th grade this year. I know. I honestly, I mean, it seems like just yesterday. I have a picture of my girls on Brooklyn's first official day of kindergarten, and she's holding Lacey, and Lacey's just a baby, and Brooklyn had just gone to swim lessons. And I look at this picture and I'm just like, how has this time gone by so fast? But I'm so grateful that I've had my kids home with me and been able to enjoy these years. And I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss these next 2 years. And so I'm so grateful that the Lord is still allowing me to be able to do the podcast. And at the same time that he has allowed Garrett the ability to take over all of the administrative stuff. And then of course he does all the hard work. He does all the editing. He does all the posting. He does all the hard work. So really Garrett's carrying the Schoolhouse Rocked ministry kind of on his own, with the girls and I cheering him on from the side, and then me recording podcasts. And so, it's how we work together as a family and as a team. And
it is. I had an older woman say to me once that was a homeschool mom, and she was an empty nester at that point. And she said, there will always be a state of mourning when your kids grow and leave. But she said the one commitment we made is that we would look back and we would say we never wasted a moment and we have no regrets, meaning it's so fast and so short. that to send them out 8 hours a day or to get so busy doing the other things God's asked us to do. Like, I mean, we could get very busy, even just in cleaning the house,
Right.
that we miss those moments. And so that's the one thing I want to be able to at the end. And like what you're saying now, recalibrating is I want to look back and say, it's so fast, but I had every moment I could.
Right.
I didn't waste a single moment,
Yeah. Amen.
I'm so proud of you and excited.
Yeah,
and I bet your
thank
girls
you.
are excited.
They are. It's a really good thing for our family. And we've already seen just that transition and the fruit of, taking place in our family where I just have more time for them. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.